Today I'd like to tie for you an articulated trout circus peanut. The hook I have in the vise is a size 4. This is a general purpose fly, straight eye. I think it's important to have the straight eye. I'm going to use black thread. And I'm going to put a base of thread down to the rear of the hook. And this is going to be the rear hook of the articulated streamer. And I'm going to stop just before it starts bending. Now I'm going to take some white marabou and some black marabou, because I'm going to make this with grizzly feathers. So I'm going to take 2 pieces of black, 2 sections of black, and 1 section of white. I'm going to put the white in between the black. And we don't want that real long. We'll just make that about maybe 1.5 the length of the hook shank. We're going to wrap that in. And I got a whole lot of butt ends there, so I'm going to trim it off. I'm not going to trim it close, I just want to get all those butt ends out of there. I'm going to quickly wrap to the front to secure those butt ends. And you can wrap it a little better on the way back. Now I'm going to take a soft grizzly hackle. This particular one came from a cape, a dry fly cape, but the feathers on the top of the cape are usually soft. I'm going to tie this in by the tip. And you want to tie that in with the concave side to the shank of the hook. And just tie everything right in. And bring that back quickly. Now I'm going to take silver estaz. And I'm going to tie that in. And bring my thread up to the eye of the hook. Now I didn't cut any off my estaz, I still have it on the card, so I'm going to use my rotary feature of my vise. You can put a 1/2 hitch in there to hold the thread. I'm just going to rotate my vise and wrap this tight. And when I get to the front, I'm going to tie that off. Move my cradle out of the way. Give it a couple, 2, 3 wraps right there. And then trim off that. Secure it. Now we're going to take the saddle hackle, or the soft hackle, pull everything to the one side, and palmer this forward. Okay, those hackle pliers aren't working the best. Here's my other ones. And we're going to palmer that forward. And we'll give it an extra wrap at the front. And tie that off. Remove that excess. Now I'm going to take, this is a spinnerbait skirt, and this has silver flecks in it, silver and white, so I'm going to take one for each side, and I'm going to double them over on this rear section. I just folded over the rubber leg, or the skirt material, and tie it in. Take the other one, I'm going to fold that over the material. These don't have to be even. I'm starting out with the securing them near the eye and then wrapping back, and that will secure them better. You get more wraps on there. And then tie off this head. There we go. Take our whip finish and tie that off. Put a little bit of head cement on the head. And we're going to put this on the side. Now the next hook I have is a 6 extra long size 1 streamer hook. We're going to use lead eyes on this, and I put realistic eyes on the barbells, but these don't have a real lot of weight to them, so I'm going to use some lead wraps on the shank. You want to get this down on the bottom, and I'm going to just wrap that shank with the lead. And that's about good. We're going to have our lead eyes in there. Pull that back section off. Push it all together. I'm going to use the same black thread. I'm going to start it in front of the lead and wrap to the back of the lead. Put several wraps in back of it. Kind of taper that a little bit. Doesn't really matter a whole lot on this one. Secure it towards the front and bring it back. And remove that excess. Now I'm going to take the bead lawn. This is coated wire. This is 0.015 steel wire with a coating on it, and I'm going to tie that in. We're going to tie this in on the side of the hook shank. Whoop. And you want to get probably an inch of it at least to secure with. Keep that right on the side. I'm going to give it some quick wraps towards the front. And then secure it back. Keep that on the side. You can pull that down there. I got it right on the side now. Now I'm going to take dark red beads. I'm going to take the beads and I'm going to string them onto the wire. I'm going to use 3. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to take our rear section and we're going to thread it from the bottom of the hook And then we're going to thread the wire back through the beads. Grab a hold of that, and you want to pull that tight, but not real tight. Keep those beads kind of at the back there, and we're going to tie this in. Get a few wraps on to hold it, and then I'm going to move it to the side. And secure about 1 inch of it. I'm going to take my wire cutter and trim off the excess. And you can secure this better now. Now I'm going to take super glue and put a little bit of super glue on that shank. Make sure we got a good. Once again, I'm going to take 2 black sections and 1 white section of marabou. We're going to tie that right on the top. And we want to make that just have it come to the tail of the stinger fly. Let's tie that in. Make those quick wraps towards the front. Secure everything. This will make a great bass fly also in different colors. And once again, I'm going to take my silver Estaz and secure that. I'm going to take a pair of those top cape hackles because I want it much fuller in the front. I'm going to tie this in by the tips. Put a little moisture on those marabou feathers. And I'm going to bring the thread up to in front of the lead wraps. Take my silver crystal flash and wind this. There we go, get that first wrap in there. And stop that right in front of the lead wraps. Take that cradle out of my way. I'm going to tie that off. Trim that off. I'm going to take the grizzly hackle and I'm going to wind them. Try to pull everything to one side with 2 is a little bit more difficult. Get it to the front. I'm going to tie that off. One hackle is a little shorter than the other, so I'm going to tie them. Then I'm going to wrap the longer one more time. Trim off that excess. Put my hackle pliers on this piece. And just give that a couple more wraps. Make a fuller head there for moving more water. And I'm going to tie that off when it gets to the real fluffy stuff. Secure that down tight. Just pull those couple off. Put a little bit of head cement on there. I'm going to take my barbell eyes and tie them in. I'm going to tie them on the There we go. If you catch any of those hackles, just go ahead and pull them out of there. I'm going to wrap under the eyes and over the shank. Tighten them up. I'm going to take the spinnerbait skirt once again. And I'm going to use 2 for each side of the fly. I'm going to tie them in behind the eyes. And you want to let them, you could let them go to almost the tail of the rear hook. And you want to make sure you get them on the side. Whoop. Spun that, huh? And take the other 2 and put them on the opposite side. I'm going to do a few more figure 8s on my eyes there. Crossover wraps, whichever you prefer. Ooh, I just stuck my finger good. That's going to give blood. Now to finish this off, I'm going to take that silver Estaz one last time. And I'm going to figure 8 around the head. Put a couple of wraps right in back of those eyes. And then go ahead and give it some figure 8s there. Give it the whip finish. Put some head cement on there. And here we have the articulated Circus Peanut Trout version. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Leave comments, questions, suggestions. And most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.